had a blip on Friday evening, back up, and then today it went down to, write this down, 65.05. We're currently 65.40, 65.40, about mid-range right now. So we're still down from where we were on Friday at close. That's after 5 o'clock or 5 o'clock. And then, but some of the things that's got my attention, I'll show you. MU is now just open at 422s at 414. Google is at below 300, 297. This is the big one. NVIDIA is at 172.64 with that 175 pivot number. So you got a market that's really on its back heels right now. And we'll talk about that. I hope the pocket puts, and let me ask you a question. Who has pocket puts in their account right now? Tell me if you got pocket puts in your account. Well, you're going to sleep good tonight because, you know, those pocket puts are something else. And, you know, I talked last week about how to, if you're going to hold on to stock, how to hedge it, you know, by buying a put so that expired at the nearest term to get through this weekend. And, you know, I can't do any more to help you on that. SQQQ, it looks to me like it's a pretty safe play, depending on who's got SQQQ. Let me ask that question. Anybody got SQQQ? That seems like a pretty safe play here. You know, you can buy SQQQ at night, okay? Yeah, John, Jim says, should we change our target for the pocket puts? It doesn't hurt to cancel and replace it in the morning because we don't know how the night's going to go. But I've got a little statement I want to read that actually was pointed out to me by my wife when I said, did everybody see the announcement by President Trump that Iran had 48 hours, I guess, 48 hours the way I read it? Huh? Did everybody see that one? Well, if you read it closely, and I'll show you when we get there, we got it as a slide, he actually said within 48 hours. And the question is, did they make a threat against the U.S. and its allies? Almost immediately they did. So I got a feeling we're about to go to a different stage. Crude oil is something to watch, but what I'm watching right now is the VIX. It's had a high of the night of 2670. That's VIX futures, okay? But I'm glad you're here, and thank you for coming. I want to get into it because this is for serious traders. This is for people that want to make money while other people are losing money, and that's the whole gist of what we're trying to do here. So hope everybody's sitting there and ready to go. Let's do it. Our YouTube channel, join it. Risk involved in trading, past performance is not indicative of future results. Now here's the statement. Read this statement. Everybody take a second and read this statement. But I really want to highlight the fact that the clock was moving from last night, and the way I read it was 48 hours, and I read it closely. But do you notice he uses the word within? That's a big word. Everybody see what's in that language? Within 48 hours? And you're going to know if you wake up in the morning and goes over 102. Something happened. You don't even read the news, okay? Now, that is pretty serious stuff right there. So take a picture of it and all, but I guess game on, you might say, game on. Now, if you've been listening to me, 15, 18 days ago, I told you to circle the wagons. 7 days ago, I said, tighten those wagons up and make sure you're hedged. I've done everything I possibly can to warn you what I'm seeing. And you got to trade the present, not the future. And the present right now looks pretty weak, in my opinion, okay? Pretty weak, in my opinion. former Air Force officer. And, you know, I was taught to think, there's two words I'll use tonight. I was taught to think strategically and tactically when it came to warfare. And when I look at what's going on right now, it seems like we're going to that tactical stage. That's my thoughts. Okay, and you might disagree with me, but I'm watching the tickers and they look pretty sick when I look at them. So write this down. Watch the VIX/VX futures. As long as it's above 20, you need to have pocket puts when you go home in the evening. Watch NVIDIA. As long as it's below 75, there's heat on the market. Watch crude oil above 102.55. We go to more highs and more pressure on the market. Okay? You got those three metrics I'm telling you to watch. Everybody know how to watch those metrics. If you got a brokerage account, you can follow along in real time. If you don't have a brokerage account, you can go to investing.com and they'll give it to you for free. Hello, Wendy. Wendy, aren't you glad you joined me when you did? And DTI will help you master the markets through education, training, and experience. Yeah, Adam, can you type these numbers in the chat room for the three major things they ought to watch? The VIX above 20, go home with pocket puts. And somebody else can type this in there too, because I don't know if Adam's shorthanded or what. But the bottom line is, if we're above 20, you got to go home with pocket puts. Number two, as long as NVIDIA is below 175, this market's under pressure. And number three, crude oil above 102.55, the heat is on. Okay? The heat is on. Now, before we get started, I want to tell you about a great course we put together. Adam did it. He's here. He's making a sandwich. But dtitrader.com/options edu. How many people's going through that course? Don't you like it? Pretty clear, isn't it? If you're new to options, or even if you're part of it. There's the link. Now, my schedule, 11 o'clock tomorrow, we'll have train and trade at 11. Tomorrow night, you talk about a hot ticket, futures at 6 o'clock tomorrow at the end of this 7:46 time frame. Tuesday, I've got connect the dots, train and trade, and live trading on Tuesday. Wednesday, I have 9:30. The people that applied to do the day trades, the ones that had at least 50,000 in their account, will do that Wednesday morning at 9:30. I tell you what, make it 10 o'clock, Adam, on Wednesday. Make it 10 o'clock. $10 on Wednesday morning. That's the one I said I'd show you all some techniques here Wednesday morning. If you applied, you had to have, be able to day trade. It's going to be focusing on tips for day trading. Futures bonus, right? Absolutely. Okay. That's the way we're ending up the week. David, I said at least have 50,000 in your trading account. If you want to apply, put your name, email, and phone number in there. We'll be contacting you to get you set up for Wednesday. Yeah, because this is about how to use some of the techniques I used in my book to, show you some real quick things you can do in the morning at 10 o'clock to help yourself. Yeah, all you have to do is put your email and phone number, add them, capture it, and add it to the list. No show, but just this week at 6. In my opinion, well, my opinion is pretty simple. I follow the tickers, and the tickers tell me to be short. That's my opinion. Or it tells me not to have stocks in my account. Yes, you do, Jim. You do need to sign up, no matter what your status. This is over and above what I'm doing, trying to help people that have an interest in that. As I've said continuously, keep pocket puts in your account. What we've been able to do in the pocket puts has been phenomenal. What do y'all think about my strategy of pocket puts for the last 2 weeks? Pretty wild, isn't it? Now, tomorrow we're going to get another chance, aren't we? This market's right here. We should anyway. I think we took half off on Friday, John, didn't we? Took half off on Friday. All right, there's the Seven Sisters. Notice we're down 5%. This is the level that you would expect the bottom pickers would step in. This is the level you would expect if there was blue sky out there, they'd be buying. We haven't seen it yet. I think they've had their face pills stepping in at 3 and 4, now 5%. In fact, we've got a chance to even go a lot deeper over the next 5 or 6 days. Okay. And the real reason, did anybody listen to the Fed meeting where Jay Powell said he wanted to stay for life? Did y'all hear that one? Yeah, that really took away the hope for interest rates in the near term if we can't get rid of him. Boy, what a selfish guy. You asked me to do this last week. I did this. It paid off big time. Okay. I'll give you a second to type of the long side and the downside. The long side and the downside. Buck, I'm talking about the Fed chairman. Does everybody see these numbers? The way you play these numbers, you can do the stocks or you can do options anywhere from delta 10 to delta 50. Steve, send an email to Roe at DTI Trader. He'll send you a video when he gets time. Roe at DTI Trader. Everybody got the numbers? Give me a yes if you got the numbers on the long side and the short side. Took a lot of work. I won't do this every week, but as long as we're under heat, meaning pressure, I'm gonna give you both sides of it. I think our track record for the top 10 tickers on Sunday night has created quite a buzz. We're just as good the other way too. So pay attention, watch these stocks this week. I'd take a picture with my camera, honestly, the way I would do it. I don't know how to do it with the computer, but that's what I would do. Or snipping tool, right? Okay. I think this would be worth coming at the end of the day if you watch these. You might get play both of them if this market really, if things happen pretty quick after Tuesday or Wednesday. Probabilities for the week look weak. First 2 days. Wednesday looks like a nice pop. Thursday and Friday looks like a week to have what I would call a pretty messy week, probability wise, seasonally. Only one day, Wednesday, looks promising. There's the news for the week. Really, the focus is the war, I think, and that's what we have to do. Focus on it. Now, a lot of people in this industry use moving average. How many people here use moving averages? How many people listen to people that use moving averages? It's pretty common in this industry for people to use moving averages. Typically, in the history of my teaching and trading, I don't use moving average. But there's a reason. I use what I call a 24-hour approach to the market that basically works pretty good. All you got to do is ask the people who's been with me 15, 20 years. Edwin's laughing. He hadn't heard me talk about moving averages in about 10 years. But the reason I'm talking about it, I want to talk to you about the age of computers, right? Okay. And we'll repost that link for you, Bruce. But let's look and compare moving average to the DTI method. Okay, this is S&P futures. If you look at S&P futures, you see a 5-day, 20-day, 50-day, 100-day, 200-day, and year-to-date moving average. Now, the way this is work, the way moving averages typically work is if the 5, breaks the 20 or the 30 or 40, some people consider that a sell. But when you run out of numbers with moving average, then you're sort of in a free fall, and that's usually at about the 200 moving average level. So if you look at this, let's see what DTI said on S&P futures. DTI said the average was 67.61. DTI got a short at 67.18. Current price is 65.54. It was based on time. We didn't have to hang for a lot of heat when you use that number. Does everybody see the difference there? Now if you're an algorithm out there, you're going to be reluctant to buy unless at least the 5-day climbs up. It's going to climb up quite a bit to pass the 20-day. The market's really in a jam when all these traders with moving averages trying to figure out what to do. That's why we have the reference bars. And the reference bars will work fine tonight. and tomorrow. Always working based on time. Now the SPY relates to the S&P. And if you look at the SPY, the 100-day moving average was 681.78. DTI said sell the market at 669. It's at 647 right now. Every trade you ever make using the DTI method removes one big thing that costs you money with moving average. It removes the emotional heat that moving averages give you. That's why I prefer the DTI approach. Now, NASDAQ futures, again, compared to the QQQ. The year-to-date average said sell at 25,445. DTI said sell the market 24,352. Since that time, the market's been in a free fall. We're down 400 points. Pretty interested, huh? Here's the QQQ. What did the QQQ say? The 200-day average on this, nothing but below it on the street, was 592. The QQQ, DTI said at 590, we're at 5, tonight we're at 580. Again, a big sell with DTI. Now, NVIDIA, here's a stock. NVIDIA, okay? NVIDIA is one that's out there, and it's a big number on NVIDIA. And I've told people this number over and over again. I thought NVIDIA would not make a low below 175. Well, guess what? I was wrong. NVIDIA is at 173. It's in a sale right now, okay? DTI said sell it at 174.74. Anytime you have a DTI sell, you got a sell that's going to make you money in a real market. I can't say that about moving averages, okay? I just can't say it with my experience. I can't tell you. I have to use the DTI approach. But I wanted to show that to you to open your eyes about what we developed. Pretty powerful stuff. And you say, well, why would somebody stay with Tom and Bruce for 20, 25 years? Because our stuff works. And the 3-day algo that gave us these sell numbers work every month. Pretty amazing stuff. The difference between DTI and moving averages is that we integrate time. Time of the day. That's the reference bars. Time for the week. Time for the month. And time for the year. Time is our secret weapon when it comes to trading. Pretty good stuff. Now, who wants an edge in the market, especially tomorrow morning? Does everybody know what an edge is? That means you have the odds in your favor before you ever pull the trigger on a trade. One of my criteria for doing a trade, I've got to have an edge. I see a lot of trades I don't take because I don't have an edge. But give me a yes if you want to have an edge tomorrow morning when you wake up. I want you to think long and hard about what I'm about to show you because we've got it. And here it is. That's our sunrise automatic signal that will come in tomorrow morning. And the thing I go to, Chuck goes to, Jonathan goes to every morning to kick off the day, tied in with my pivot number, okay? Pretty cool stuff. But that's where sunrise comes in. It's an automatic algorithm that we put together that will report be long, be short, or be out of the market. It's simple, it's straightforward, and it works. So if you go to Friday, now Friday was an interesting day, wasn't it? How many of you would have liked to known Friday morning that the market was going to sell off like it did? Give me a yes if you would have liked to known that when you woke up in the morning. That's what Sunrise is all about, because it's going to run through all the series of trades and everything out there to spit out long, short, or out for you automatically. That's where it comes in. That is what I call the early detection radar from Friday. You think you might have made some money knowing this, or saved some money having Sunrise in your back pocket? Well, don't go into tomorrow without it. Sunrise is fantastic. It kicks off in the morning around 7 o'clock. It's always better to be ahead of the crowd. Friday was a classic example. 7 o'clock, it said go short. You saw what happened next. Market came unglued all day long. You get that same signal tomorrow, it's going to tell you there's no buys out there. The Sunrise signal, what's included in our algorithm? We have a member-only Telegram channel where we post in there where we have those signals like Friday. We have entry alerts at 10 o'clock. Notice I said those people that could day trade beat me on Wednesday. I'll show you a couple things, but you have it in Sunrise every day. It does the work for you. Telegram work is pretty simple. You match up your 7 o'clock reading to the negative reading. It gives you an options to buy. And we have a bonus PDF telling you exactly how to use the profit lock on every trade, which is some things I might cover Wednesday if you ask nicely. Options Made Simple video series. You saw the course that we typed in there. Get that free. We have a master class scheduled for this Thursday. I want to give you time to go through what we've done recording wise. We're really making this work for you. We'll do that Thursday morning. Barbara wrote, training and modeling this Sunrise has been helpful, and thanks for the teaching and training we do. Very much appreciate it. Polly said he's due. Thanks, T-Bus. Great training, allows him to stay focused on the market target. By the way, you get targets and everything with Sunrise. Oscar said, been priceless. Pretty good stuff. Hard work we put in to build this thing. Take advantage of it. The Daybreak Masterclass is the first of a series of many classes I've done on the Masterclass that will help you. Now, the special class on Thursday at 10, I'll be hosting. Get everybody up to speed after they see it work for 3 or 4 days. Go to dtitrader.com/sunrise. Get your special discount if you'd like to have it, okay? Special price will end tonight. Now, we're going to play a tape, but I'm going to ask, does anybody have any questions before I turn over the tape? So in summary, here's what I told you. Watch the VIX. Keep pocket puts on as long as we're above 20. Watch NVIDIA below 175. Got to do that. Yeah, Shelby, Sunrise is based on that early bird time, 7 o'clock in the morning, okay? And RB2 also 4 o'clock. It matches it all together. Folks, I hope I opened your eyes to DTI tonight. Somebody's going to have a great week. I would say if I was a betting person, I would say those people with DTI and me this week are going to have a good week, just like we've had in the past. Now, I had the pocket puts out, you didn't post it I think we've had 6 in a row that's made money on the pocket puts. And I think it's been pretty exciting to have those. So I want to leave you right now to watch this. Stay tuned. I will be back tomorrow, and we're going to have a great week. Let the market have a little air to breathe. Hedge yourself. Easiest way to do it tonight. If you can't do futures, you can do futures. You can do futures. That's another discussion. But if you can't do futures, do the SQQQ. Okay? Don't lose your spot on this. We're going to get into the details of the sunrise signal. Thank you for tonight. Thank you for being here. I hope I gave you some insight that will help make you have a great week. Quit losing money. Join us. Thank you, Adam. Take it away.
Bell even rings. So you don't want to exit this browser. You want to stay with us because we're talking about important stuff here. And one of those things that we go over every time we start one of these is that the profits and performance shown are not typical. We make no future earnings claims. You can always lose money in the markets. The trades expressed are from historical back-tested data in order to demonstrate the potential of the system. The average return per trade, winners and losers included, was 11.91 per trade, 11.91% per trade. And every example you're going to see today is based on a $2,000 starting stake unless we say otherwise. So if you want more information, you can go to the DTI homepage. In other words, what we're saying is there are going to be losers in trading. There's no black box miracle system that prints out winning trades automatically. The whole purpose of what Tom does and all his work with traders is to give folks an edge in the markets, which you do very well, Tom. But if you can't handle a losing trade, then you really shouldn't be trading with real money because losses in trading have occurred and will occur in the future. If you don't know me, I am Stephen Ground, and I am excited to be here today. We've got a question for you. What if there was a way to target $250, $500, or even $1,000 each day, all thanks to one signal that fires before the opening bell rings? I'm talking about a way to target a couple $100 a day or more while most folks are still stuck in traffic on the way to their boring day jobs. Now, for some of you tuning in, that might sound far-fetched, but as you'll soon see, according to the trading legend joining me today, it's now possible thanks to one of the most powerful, overlooked signals in the market. For example, look what his study shows could have happened back on May 21st. While most people were dreading the start of the workday, we've all had that feeling, thanks to a little-known signal on CoreWeave that took place before the opening bell. Anyone could have clicked a few buttons to jump in right after the markets opened and watched as the stock exploded higher all day long, handing over a $508 payout in just a few hours. Pretty impressive, Tom. Then the next day, same exact thing. While most folks were still swapping stories at the water cooler, trying to pass time at the day job, anyone who would have caught the sunrise signal on Tesla, which fired before the markets opened, could have placed a quick trade right after the opening bell. And when things worked out, watched a cool $473 hit in their account before the end of the day. And then, just a few days later, same thing. While most folks were stuck in boring meetings during the day, anyone could have seen one quick signal on NVIDIA, again, firing in the morning before the opening bell, and then placed the trade while they were out for a morning walk, maybe grabbing coffee, and cashed in with $491 when it was all said and done. It's all thanks to this one incredible, powerful signal that fires each morning at 8 a.m. Eastern that we're going to break down for you here today. My guest, Tom, calls it the sunrise signal. Love that name, Tom, because just by checking this one signal after the sun rises each and every morning, you can use it to target $250, $500, or even $1,000 or more before the end of the day. For example, let's look back at May 5th from his study. Here's the sunrise signal, lighting up like fireworks at 8 a.m. And as you'll soon see in just a moment, that was a surefire sign that the stocks would trend higher later in the day. So all anyone had to do was click a few buttons after the opening bell to place a quick trade, and then come back later to see a quick 25% return, this time on MU. Now, let's say someone had put $2,000 into that trade. Again, that's the stake we're going to be talking about with every example from here on out, unless we say otherwise. That would have been enough to pay out a handsome $500, all by checking one signal before the opening bell. They didn't have to wake up at the crack of dawn, which is good because I'm no good at that, Tom. I know you are. They didn't have to stare at stock charts. They just needed to check one quick signal before the opening bell, wait a few minutes, and then place a trade. That's it. And the beautiful thing is, while we almost always get an opportunity each day, some days we get more. Like that very same day, May 5th, we were just talking about, the sunrise signal picked up on not one, not two, but three high-powered entries for us. The first one on that Micron example I just showed you, $500. The second one on GLD, one of the hottest assets in the world right now, which could have paid out $457 that day. And then the third one on QQQ, which could have paid folks $404 before dinner. None of these on crazy penny stocks or anything that's hard to trade, all told from that one day following the sunrise signal, the signal that fires before the markets ever open. Anyone could have collected $1,362 with a few clicks of the button. Now, for most folks, that's like adding an extra paycheck with just a few minutes work, all before your morning coffee gets cold. Now, as great as that is, we've only really scratched the surface on what this sunrise signal is capable of, which is why we have the man here next to me. Because before the end of this briefing, he's going to reveal the real opening bell that most traders don't know about, how anyone can spot the sunrise signal before the markets open, the 30-minute no man's land that is killing your profit right now, probably every day you trade, the simple double confirmation step to help protect against market reversals, and how we've made it quicker than ever to follow along by automating the whole thing, as so much more. Tom, I know your team put a lot of work into that. But first, I want to properly introduce today's legendary guest and the mastermind behind these groundbreaking sunrise signals. I know a lot of you know him, but the man behind this breakthrough began his career during the 1970s. In 1992, he was one of only 50 professionals to be handpicked by the CME to receive his very own Globex terminal. And he even helped manage a firm so successfully that it was eventually bought out by the $7.9 trillion institution, Morgan Stanley. But this man's Wall Street legacy pales in comparison to what he's delivered for his students since founding DTI back in 1996. Just hear some of the very best stories from some of his top students who have followed his work. Jim P. wrote in to tell us he made a total of $2,060, a great way to start the month. Please pass along my thanks to Tom. And then there's Ken, who said, I love its simplicity, a great tool to trade, picked up an extra $3,200 today. And I love Manny O's story. He says, just to let you know that I've had my fifth win in trading, a 135.3% ROI. You're the greatest and the most patient with me, Tom. I know those are some of the best stories from students following along with none other than trading legend Tom Busby. You've seen him on CNBC, CNN, Bloomberg. You may have read his books. If you haven't, you certainly should. The Markets Never Sleep, Trade to Win, and Winning the Day Trading Game, which is a lot of what we're going to talk about here. The Markets Never Sleep. And I'm very excited for you to be here today, Tom. So thank you. Can you tell us more about the sunrise signal and how you discovered it?
I'm excited and I'd love to. As you mentioned, I built my career on trading the 24-hour markets. And the 24-hour markets are the key to everything you'll see today. In fact, the details I'll share with you today are even so important that I even published a whole book on it, The Markets Never Sleep.
Great book.
You see, most people assume the trading day starts at 9:30 when the opening bell rings. The networks love to run their shows around it. They throw a big party for it every day. But if you're only focused on what happens after the opening bell, you're actually missing the most important signal in the entire market. Because the truth is, Wall Street's day doesn't start at 9:30 like most people assume. It starts much earlier, at 8 o'clock a.m. As soon as they fire on their computer, setting their first trades of the day, they send a signal that can help us tell the direction for the rest of the day. That's powerful. And by following that signal, which hits every morning at 8 o'clock, we're able to hop in on some of their biggest bets once the markets open. They ride it higher all day long, For example, look what happened in NVIDIA back on May the 13th. I love it. On May the 13th, right at 8, Wall Street fired off the sunrise signal. And I'll explain soon, this meant that NVIDIA had a darn good shot to soar higher all day long. So, Stephen, had you set a basic trade, you'd walked away with a quick $508 on NVIDIA that day.
That's pretty awesome.
Let's see it again, this time on Micron back in April. Now, back in April, the headlines were calling for economic doom, as usual, but that really didn't matter because once again, on April 24th, go check the date, sunrise signal fired at 8. No, so anyone could have simply ignored the forecasters, which is not bad advice, and taken 2 minutes or less to set a quick trade, knowing that MU was likely to head higher all day long. And anyone who did that could have turned and banked $491 with just a few clicks of the button. So each day, hundreds of Wall Street's traders, pits, and countless algorithms come online right at 8. Just look at this chart on average volume in the early morning. There it is. As you can see, there's very little activity before 8. But then look what happens. A massive volume spike right at 8 o'clock as Wall Street wakes up. Then when Wall Street places its bets on where stocks are going to go for the rest of the day, before most people are even paying attention. Now, of course, you don't have to be active at 8 to reap the rewards from the early birds on Wall Street. You just have to watch the sunrise signal. Remember that name, then place a trade right after the opening bell to help piggyback on the stocks they most likely be going to send higher for the rest of the day. For example, look back on April 24th. This one on Palantir.
Great stock.
Now, back in April, we were in the midst of tariff chaos, and the markets had whipsawed like crazy the day before. VIX was still highly elevated, making it very difficult to predict where stocks would move next unless you knew about that sunrise signal. Because that morning, while the markets were quiet, Palantir jumped like crazy at 8 o'clock. There's a signal, surefire sign that Wall Street was waking up, starting their trading day. And when it did, the first thing they wanted to do was pile into this stock. Then our sunrise signal telling us that the stock was primed to go higher all day long once the confirmation came, and that's exactly what happened. Look at that. And anyone who jumped on sunrise signal when the markets opened could have made a quick $456 in a few hours. You see, Wall Street loves getting in early on some of their favorite stocks well before the opening bell rings. That's because by starting their day at 8, they can trade after they've had a chance to process all the overnight news, while the European trade desks are still open, and before any major economic news drops at 8:30 in the morning. And when Wall Street starts buying a stock in the pre-market, you'll often see that stock run higher all day long. Meaning anyone who can spot the sunrise signal in real time can potentially ride those waves higher for a shot at quick payouts. Like with the NVIDIA example from May the 27th. That was the first day back from Memorial Day weekend that had left the markets reeling. With more tariff fears on deck, how could anyone be confident that the market would open higher the following week? By checking the sunrise signal, of course. Volume started jumping on NVIDIA at 8, just like we'd think, and the sunrise signal was confirmed. The stock was ready to move higher. Then shortly after the markets opened, NVIDIA shot higher just as the sunrise signal predicted, paying out a nice $474 to anyone who followed along.
Tom, that's really impressive. Incredible stuff you're showing us here, because on just those two sunrise signals, the last two you covered, any trader could have picked up an extra $930 in just two trades. Not bad. Someone who'd been twice as confident could have scored $1,860 before the weekend hit. Tom, that's enough to help folks finally spend the weekend how they want to. Maybe cover the green fees almost anywhere you want to go, or even a joyride for two in the car of your dreams. Really doesn't matter how anyone spends the money. What matters is that folks could have had that flexibility, and it's all thanks to the sunrise signal. And Tom, you're honestly no stranger to showing folks these kinds of returns. Just hear some of these top stories from students in your services. Laura P., she's been working with you for years. I've met Laura. She's great. Listening to Tom puts money in your pocket, even on those crazy days. Yesterday had 9 trades, all winners, $2,200 profit.
That's a good day.
That's a real good day. And then there's Denise W., who wrote, so far I've had only winning trades, but more important to me is how much I learn every time. You're big on education.
Absolutely.
And then here's Bruce L., who put it simply, when I follow you, Tom, I make money.
That says enough, doesn't it?
Tom's committed to helping you all the way through the trade. But Tom, this sunrise signal is something brand new that even Laura, Denise, and Bruce are going to be amazed by. So tell us, can we make money on just any stock that Wall Street moves higher at 8 a.m.?
Of course not, Stephen. If it was that easy, everybody would be making a killing off this sunrise signal already. Let me remind folks right now, there's no system that's perfect. We have seen some great success in our research, but losses can and will happen. That's just part of the trading game. Fortunately, you don't have to guess at the top stocks of the day. You just have to know what to look for. This is where the education happens, and more importantly, when to look for it. Let's talk about the opening bell again. When the major players own 8 a.m. and at 9:30, the floodgates open for everybody across the entire market. Not only are the vast majority of retail traders lining up to finally react to overnight news, there's a flood of trades that made overnight that are finally processing at 9:30, that first 10 minutes, 20 minutes of the day. That surge creates the biggest volume spike of the entire day, and dwarfs the volume at 8. But don't worry, we got a solution. Take a look at this chart. Do you see that spike after the opening bell?
I mean, it's huge. You can see it.
That's what happens right after the market opens. So you tell people don't get in right then. And it can ruin you if you're not careful. I call it that 30 minutes of no man's land. Used to be called amateur hour, because if you step into it, you're likely to get hurt bad. You can see in the second chart, that orange line shows how much stock prices bounce in the first 30 minutes of the day. In over 40 years, I only found one way to navigate no man's land successfully. Stay out of it. Mm-hmm. Because while Wall Street might be wading through the chaos, quietly adding to their positions, they started building at 8. There's no way of knowing when the opening bell hurricane is still raging. Fortunately, you don't have to wait long. Right after 10, the dust starts to settle and the clear pack leaders continue their charge higher. Look at one more time at this chart. Pay attention. Right at 10, the chaos drops off quickly. The initial flood of trading activity dies down, and we can quickly see which positions from 8 are still trending higher. The ones that made it through the madness are still going higher, or the ones that give us a shot to target $500 or more before lunch. For example, take a look at another example, NVIDIA, this one from May the 6th. As always, we saw a pre-market volume spike right at 8 o'clock, and the sunrise signal showed NVIDIA moving higher right before the opening bell. The biggest volume spike of the day, NVIDIA sank during the chaos. Traders jumped in right at the opening bell. Would have already been selling out and running for the hills. Yeah. But if you'd waited half an hour, time-wise, and look how quickly the volume drops back down to normal levels, and almost as soon as that happened, NVIDIA started moving back up to the normal reaction, and that was a surefire sign that NVIDIA was a top stock for the day and was ready to soar. And that's exactly what happened the rest of the day. Anyone who'd seen the sunrise signal, waited for the chaos to die down, and watched the stock start to climb at 10, could have snagged another $500 on NVIDIA before quitting.
That's impressive.
Simply by waiting till after the opening bell and trading the stocks that pass the test at 8 and 10. We're able to set ourselves up to target $500 or more, then slam the laptop shut if we want to, like with Palantir on May the 30th. Now, you probably know it's been a wild year for Palantir stock, but late May was a bit of a rough patch. As the end of the month approached, Palantir suffered 3 straight losses, and the MACD had crossed strongly into bear territory. To be naked-eyed, didn't seem like a good day to go all in on this tech stock, unless you knew about the sunrise signal. In the early morning, the markets were dead quiet until right at 8 when the volume started climbing fast, and sunrise signal fired right there what we expected to do. More than enough to tell us that Wall Street had shaken off the bad news and were bullish for Palantir on that day. But if you jumped in right at open, that would have been a mistake. Volume spiked just as we think would happen as the bell chimed, sending stocks into a tailspin for the first 30 minutes. And over the same time frame, volume cooled down, came back to normal. Then 10 o'clock rolled around. It was clear Palantir was ready to rip. And you could have had high confidence that the stock would jump from there. And sure did, absolutely soaring over the next 60 minutes. Look at that. That's what you want to catch. And anyone who jumped in at the right time could have scored $500 on Palantir in just over, a little over an hour.
Wow.
Now, Stephen, I know our audience is sharp as a tack, but let me run through just one more quick example to show you exactly how powerful this sunrise signal is.
Please.
So let's look at AMD on May the 23rd. And there AMD had a rough start in 2025, sinking all year long and then getting hammered during the tariff panic. In fact, that very morning, NASDAQ published an article encouraging traders not to panic yet, despite an awful start to the year. But that didn't start quite the storm in the early hours of the market until you guessed it. You got the time, 8 o'clock. Volume spiked immediately at 8, sending AMD in reverse. A clear sunrise signal projecting the stock could move higher all day long. Anyone who'd seen it would have ignored the rest of the pre-market movement. Turned out when it continued to chop around in no man's land, watched at 10 for the crystal clear sign that Wall Street was back in charge. They rode that stock higher all day long. Then this time collecting a quick $508 in the process.
Tom, that is an incredible example. I mean, that's so clear on the chart, every step you're talking about. And if my math is correct, those 3 trades you just showed us could have added up to about $1,508 in added cash for folks. And Tom, each of those trades could have cashed in before lunchtime. It's really incredible. Now, I'm impressed, but of course, I'm not surprised that you're once again showing your traders how to seize the chance for some quick cash from the stock market. You've made a career doing just that. Just hear some stories from Tom's most successful students in his other flagship programs. You've got Carlos G. from Texas, great guy. Good morning, Tom. 1 week ago, I bought a 25-cent option, and the next day I closed it at 125.
Do that once a week, and it solves a lot of problems.
That sure does. That was 5 times my original investment. A lot of money very quickly. Then there's Bobby. He says the program's amazing. He's up over $2,000 just today. Like you said, that's a really good day. Or how about Emmanuel from New Mexico? You're a great teacher. I made around $2,200 from one trade. Keep up the good work. Tom, as much as I love those stories, I can't wait to hear from traders who follow your sunrise signals from now on. Heck, I'm almost tempted to quit my day job and focus on these signals each and every day.
Well, Stephen, I'm flattered, because these sunrise signals really can be a game changer, and you got to have it, because I should be clear. If you have a day job, don't quit it.
Okay.
Of course, there's nothing guaranteed with these sunrise signals. You should never risk more than you can afford to lose. And like with any other strategy, there have been smaller wins and those that didn't work out along the way. But more importantly, you don't have to quit your day job to follow these signals, because as we've seen time and time again, you only need a few minutes, a couple at key times during the day to follow the sunrise signal.
That's a really good point, Tom, and I'm sure a few folks will be relieved to hear I'm not giving up on my day job just yet. But I have to ask, what's stopping folks at home from following the sunrise signal as soon as the markets open again?
Honestly, Stephen, there's nothing stopping folks from jumping in on the next sunrise signal. In fact, they could set their alarm for 8 a.m. each day and get to work looking for the best opportunities. But think about it. If you just wanted to track the S&P 500, that's 500 stocks, you'd have to monitor it at 8 o'clock every morning. Think about the work there. And then again at 10.
Yeah, that's a bunch.
Meaning you'd be spending hours in front of your computer that could have been spent sleeping in, doing the crossword, or even taking a morning joyride. With that much to do, you might have missed winners that our research team found on stocks like NVIDIA in April, QQQ 500 in May, 508 in MU in June. And I can't blame you. I might not have seen them either if I was on my own. But fortunately, I have a whole team of experts who help me do this. The DTI team has over a century of combined experience in the markets. With the powerful software, with our expert team, we're able to code a sunrise algo specifically designed to track these opportunities. And not just manpower, we spent over $500,000 to build a custom software that helps us track these sunrise signals.
Wow, that's a big investment.
Turning hours of grueling, mind-numbing work each morning in just a few clicks of a button. Each morning, Algo scans the market for sunrise signals right at 8:10. That means we already know that stocks were set to trade before the opening bell, which ones are teed up. Stronger signals get posted to a private Telegram channel with our members. There's no need to wake up early because the fun really begins at 10 o'clock. That's when Algo picked the best of the best stocks that survived the opening bell chaos and are still trending higher. Like our study shows happened with CoreWeave back on May the 2nd. Traders could have spotted the sunrise signal or just read the update in our Telegram channel. You know the name now. And even though the market's open hot that day, sunrise signal shows there's still a lot of gas left in the tank. Our readers would have had only checked alerts shortly after 10.
Look at that.
There it is, identified. Still climb almost 5% from there. That's big money. $483 in a short period of time. Nobody had to dig through 500 stocks. Nobody had to open a ton of charts. It was teed up right for you and just wait for that sunrise signal and place the trade. They could have done it again on May the 27th because that day the sunrise signal fired on Tesla. By 10, it was clear the momentum wasn't stopping, but our readers wouldn't have had to be studying charts. They could have waited for the alert at 10. Tesla identified. Tesla soared all day. And anyone who followed the alert could have turned $400.92 richer by the end of the day.
Tom, I'm blown away. I know for a fact you've let a very small group of your top students beta test that sunrise algo already. In fact, a few of your top students have already sent in love letters to your team. Bob told us, love the sunrise trade service. It gives me the biggest bang for my buck of any service out there. And then I love T, who said, it's like getting a personal meeting with Tom early in the morning. The sunrise signal and a cup of coffee are all I need to start my day. And Tom, with everything you've shown us today, it's no surprise your traders love it. But last I heard, the sunrise signal was a closed and reserved beta for only your elite members. So I guess I have to ask, how long do the rest of us have to wait?
Well, Stephen, I got good news about that. First, I want to say something. I think the sunrise signal has always been important throughout my entire career. It's never been more important than it is right now. You probably don't need me to tell you that the markets now are driven by news more than ever. But in fact, according to the Financial Times, automated trading systems now dominate market volume with news reading algos reacting to headlines in as little as 300 microseconds.
Yeah, I can't compete with that.
But when did these algos fire on? Right at 8 o'clock in the morning. So if you're not paying attention to the sunrise signal right now, you honestly don't have the prayer keeping up with Wall Street, let alone the algos that power them.
That makes sense.
But simply by following this one signal each morning, keep it simple, you'll be miles ahead of the average Joes and ready to target 250, 500, even 1,000 before the opening bell even rings. Just like I'm going to show my traders how to do every day. And for that reason, I'm going to do something I didn't expect to happen for months yet. Because you're right, Stephen, the sunrise beta test is closed, and it was supposed to stay that way a lot longer. But over the last few weeks, we couldn't wait any longer. I had my team drop everything and focus on it, get ready for immediate release. And today, I'm happy to say we met our goal. We're able to open the doors months ahead of schedule, right in time with this market. So I'm thrilled to invite 100 of our listeners today to join me inside this brand new trading service, Sunrise Signals.
Love it.
The only algorithm monitoring the sunrise signal designed to help traders target $250, 500, even 1,000 or more before lunch, and keeping it simple and straightforward. Each and every trade alert is generated in real time, sent directly to our readers wherever they are, whatever they're doing. Because the moment you join us today, you'll be invited to jump inside our exclusive members-only Telegram channel. Gotta love Telegram.
Absolutely.
You'll never have to search for alerts. It's right there in front of you. You never have to dig through spam email to find the latest trade alert. And each day you'll get the full sunrise experience right inside the Telegram channel. It all starts at 8 with the sunrise signal. Each morning our algorithm will go through its deal. We'll send you a list of stocks firing on that morning. You won't have to lift a finger. Just scan the list anytime before 10. You have the hottest trends in front of you, top opportunities, which if you were to come back, handy back on June the 11th, Look at this. That morning, Algo told us to go long on Palantir. Look at the price. It's not just for a day, it lasts. Anyone who followed the process, placed a quick trade at after 10, could have scored big on that $484 winner on options on that
That's
day.
impressive.
But you wouldn't have had to guess at 10 about whether Palantir was a good trade, because each morning shortly after 10, our super-powered algo runs another scan, and only the cream of the crop that meet our ideal entry criteria make the cut. When they do, we send out the live entry alert directly to you on the go, giving you the entry price, the profit target, and stop loss, even information for selecting the options, right in the palm of your hands. It can't get simpler than that.
Cannot.
Just like what would have happened the very next day, the alert would come to your phone with explicit instructions on exactly what to do. You have the ticker. You have the entry price, your options instructions, your target, your stop loss, all the information you need and the rules of how long to hold the trade. It's all in there, which would have made following the instructions on MU a piece of cake. So you could have tapped a few buttons when the alert came to your phone at 10, spent your time ever how you wanted to. Maybe invite some friends out for a casual breakfast, or taking the dogs out for a quick stroll, or even played a few rounds of tennis, only to come back a few hours later when things worked out, find a nice big winner on MU. $476 in just a few hours.
Wow, Tom, that's impressive stuff. I mean, if someone had put just $5,000 into each of those two trades, which happened back-to-back days, they'd be sitting on $2,401 in profit with just a few minutes of work. But
Don't forget about the $1.
absolutely. But Tom, I have to ask, some of these are quick-moving trades you've just showed us. So wouldn't you need to be glued to your phone to close them as winners?
Absolutely not, Stephen, because there's a little trick you can do to make sure that when they work out, these trades close automatically without breaking a sweat or even looking at your phone. I call it the profit lock technique, and it's a busy trader's absolute best friend, because with just a few quick steps, anytime you place the trade, you can have a peace of mind knowing that if the stock hits the target, your gains will be locked in. And as a member, you'll unlock a free PDF telling you exactly how to use the profit lock on every trade.
Tom, I've actually used the profit lock a few times myself. It's saved me more than once. I'm a busy guy. I'm sure our audience are busy too. I've won trades while I was in long business meetings, one time watching a soccer game, even one time while I was driving home in a thunderstorm. Definitely can't look at your phone then. Folks are going to love that. But let me ask you another question. Do I need to be some sort of options expert to get the most out of sunrise signals?
Dude, that's a great question, but the absolute answer is no, you do not. Sunrise Signals is a fantastic program for beginners or experienced traders alike. Of course, you can always trade the underlying stock if you prefer, but if you're ready to start your options trading journey, we got you covered there. Because the team at DTI has built what I believe is the ultimate education course on options. It's called Options Made Simple, combining over 100 years of experience and expertise with every option strategy under the sun. Our team created this condensed video course to take you from a rookie level to a veteran in no time. It's already waiting inside your members area as soon as you join. But Stephen, I'm not stopping there either. I'll also be hosting a brand new live masterclass on the Sunrise Signal. And each and every student who joins Sunrise Signals can count on this. You'll be invited to join us absolutely free. We'll cover the origins of the Sunrise Signal, how you can find it on your own if you want to, how to place the trades, how to follow everything going on in Telegram, and so much more. Simple, straightforward. Think of it like your live blueprint on getting the most out of your new membership.
Well, Tom, I know you've charged $497 or more for classes like that in the past, and they've been worth every penny. You are an education guru. You are a mastermind, in my opinion, and your top stories from students in the past who have attended your classes agree. Barbara P. wrote in to say, your training this morning was extremely helpful. Thank you for all your time in teaching and training. Very much appreciated.
She's so nice and always smiling because I know she's making money.
Polly shouted you out too, saying, thank you, T-Buzz. This is great training that allows me to stay focused on the market targets. And then there's Oscar. He said, the train and trade sessions you've been having have been priceless, and the education presented is worth the time and gold. Thank you for all the hard work you've put into providing that education for us, Tom. Now, I don't have a crystal ball, but I bet the Sunrise Masterclass will be more than worth the cost of admission of a loan. Speaking of which, though, I do have to ask you, what is this going to cost folks, Tom? I mean, just a moment ago, you showed us 2 trades that could have paid out $2,401 in a matter of days, but members are going to get access to every Sunrise signal the algorithm spots right inside the private Telegram channel, which could honestly add up to hundreds of alerts over a single year. So what is that going to cost? $5,000? $39.97?
Steve, I agree. Access to the Sunrise signal is worth a whole lot, but folks should breathe a little bit easier. Before I reveal today's price, though, there's one more big surprise I want to show people. A few years back, Roger Scott and I joined forces to teach folks the Daybreak Masterclass. At the time, we were focused on trading in the pre-market, and we offered a 4-week class at a rock-bottom price of $295. Now, to be clear, you won't need to trade in the pre-market to make the most out of the Sunrise signals. We'll be clear about that. But the techniques we taught in the Daybreak Masterclass can give you a huge advantage in understanding the Sunrise signal. Today, I want to offer you the recordings of that class for free as soon as you join the brand new service. They'll be yours to keep forever as a thank you for joining the Sunrise signals.
Tom, I wasn't expecting that. I honestly remember the Daybreak Masterclass. It was incredibly helpful to help me understand what makes stocks move before and even after the opening bell. I can't believe you're now including that for free for every new member of Sunrise Signals. So what is it going to cost, Tom? I can't even begin to think of a fair price to unlock all this.
Well, Stephen, you mentioned earlier that these 2 most recent trades from our study paid over $2,401 in a few days with a couple clicks of the button.
Yep.
So initially I thought $2,401 was a fair price for 1 year of Sunrise signals. After all, we're talking about the potential for alerts of over 100 opportunities each and every year, but I know times are tight right now, and I wouldn't want the price to be a barrier for anybody out there for entry. So I've cooked up 2 special bonuses I think everyone here is going to love. First, I want to cut the price nearly in half with a $1,000 founder's discount.
Wow.
Takes it down to $1,401. But I'm not stopping there. I'm proud of our track record we built. According to our study, Sunrise Signal triggered a winning trade alert 77.8% of the time. We're winning nearly 4 out of 5 trades. And with tight stop losses, our losers have averaged less than 30%. Each winner has been capable of delivering $250 for every $1,000 invested. Do the math. And with all that said, my favorite feature is how affordable these Sunrise signals are. Because in our study, the average trade has just cost $302 to enter.
Wow.
And that brings me to my last bonus. I want to go ahead and sponsor your very first trade with the Sunrise signal. Hopefully the first of many successful trades to come, meaning I'll immediately knock off another $302 off the price of your new membership and bring the total price down to $1,099 for your first year. So here we are. We're going to drop the link in about 20 seconds. It's time to choose. Keep running headlong into the teeth of the algorithms dominating Wall Street, or follow their trades each morning with our Sunrise signal. Now it's time to make a decision. Go to dtitrader.com/sunrise or call 904-706-3532 to talk to one of our experts. Go to dtitrader.com/sunrise or call 904-706-3532.
Tom, that's an incredible deal. I can't believe that you're letting folks get in for that, Chief. That's unbelievable.
Now, folks, if that price got you excited, let's knock their socks off. I'm offering one more insane discount limited to this webinar only. If you join immediately, I'll upgrade your membership for not 1 year, but for 2 years at no additional charge.
Wow.
That's right, an extra year on the house. I want you to take full advantage of 2 years with me with the Sunrise Signal. But I have to stress, it's a limited time offer. Our first 100 people who join today will get the second year free. So click in the order form. It's not too late, and you missed out. I'm sorry. Go to dtitrader.com/sunrise or call 904-706-3532.
Sure about that deal, Tom?
Claim it
Now,
now.
my math, you're putting $100,000 on the line for folks who want to get in today. The first 100 folks. That's
Dude.
incredible. Now, I can't wait to hear stories from the first folks who join your Sunrise Signal. I'm sure some of them are doing it as we speak. Might hear stories like these from top students in your other flagship services. Wayne wrote in, there is no one in this business that does a better job of teaching the ins and outs of the market. Tom cares about your success. There's no one that does it better than T-Buzz.
Thank you, Wayne.
Kevin wrote in, he's been acquiring a T-Buzz since November. This week he was up $6,000. Tom and his teams will teach you how to not make mistakes and lose money. I love that. And then SP put it very simply. Tom Busby is one of the best timing traders I know, and glad to be learning from him. And Tom, a lot of that timing has to do with this Sunrise Signal. Hopefully, several of our listeners here today will be the next to share a story like that.
Take the word hope out and do it, because it all starts with that decision.
I love it. And as you say, chicken, fish, or steak, right, Tom?
That's
It's
right.
time to make your choice. So go to dtitrader.com/sunrise or give us a call, 904-706-3532. Our team is absolutely incredible. They're waiting to take your call, or just click the link in the chat. We love having folks join new programs, and the Sunrise Signal is incredible, Tom. I can't wait.
You know, it's the only way I know of to watch which stocks are going to move, when they move, and how to move, and then how to take advantage of it, most likely piling in right in the morning. So showing us the opportunities you might never see otherwise. Like I remember our example we gave on Palantir from May 30th. Look at it. At the end of the month approach, it suffered 3 straight losses. MACD turned bearish. The technicians were going that way. To the naked eye, it didn't seem like a good day to go all in on the tech stock unless you knew about the Sunrise Signal. In the early morning, the markets were dead quiet up until 8. Remember that time when the volume started climbing fast? And the Sunrise Signal fired right when we were expected to, more than enough to tell us that Wall Street had shaken off the bad news, and we're bullish on Palantir for that day. So if anyone had jumped in at the open, it had been a mistake. Got to wait. Volume spike just as we think it will at that time. Then the stocks in the tailspin for the first 30 minutes, but over the same time frame, volume cooled down. It was clear by 10, Palantir was ready to go, and all we could have had that high confidence to take the trade on that stock, jump right in, and look what happened over the next 60 minutes.
Wow, absolutely.
Absolutely great. Hey, scored 500 on Palantir in just over a little over an hour.
Tom,
That's quick.
It's so incredible. It's so detailed. Every step of why this works, how it works, it makes so much sense. So I hope folks are going to dtitrader.com/sunrise or call 904-706-3532 to be a part of this. Tom, I want to dive into the chat here in a minute. We've got a few folks here who I'm sure have asked some questions. But first, let me get some of the most common questions I expect we're going to hear. How much do I need to get started trading this?
Well, the answer is about $302 for each trade. I'd recommend having about $2,000 in capital dedicated to this service. That way you're not putting your whole account at risk while you're doing this.
Makes perfect sense. Well, do I need to be an options expert?
Absolutely not. You can trade the underlying stock if you want to, or you just access the training and members area where you can learn about trading options in no
I
time.
love that. You've got options.
Got every,
No
we
pun
got it
intended,
covered.
but you've got
I've been here
everything
before.
covered. That's
Been
right.
here before.
Now, how many trades are there going to be in a year?
It's hard to say exactly, but with the Sunrise potentially firing every day, I expect no less than 100 trades minimum over the course of next year.
Incredible value. That's like less than $10 a trade at the
Yeah.
price you're paying.
Really?
Well, and that's only if you count 1 year. If you
Right.
put in for the 2 years, it's less than 5. Are we risking big 100% losses if the trade goes against us?
No, as nothing's guaranteed in the markets. Details always believe in cutting your losses when you're wrong. That's no exception. Our average loser from the studies average under 30% because we have tight stop rules with every trade.
I
we
love
place.
that. I've been in plenty of trades. I hate to admit it
Yeah.
next to a legend like you, but I've been in plenty of trades where I'm sitting there knowing I'm going to take a loser, not knowing when to cut
Turned
me.
into a submarine that didn't rise, right?
Exactly. So that's a great rule of thumb. Does the Sunrise Signal work on any stock?
It really does. The reason We've seen a short list today. It's because we focused on strong trending stocks to begin with. That way we're never fighting this overall market. It's another way we help build a high win rate on the Sunrise
I
Signal.
love that. So it's kind of got a built-in watch list of the
Yep.
hottest stocks you're watching
Yep.
anyway. Is there any kind of guarantee with this service folks should know about?
And this is the beautiful part. Of course, our team will give you 14 days to join. Get in on Telegram. Take advantage of today's offer. Attend the trainings, the masterclass. If you're not fully satisfied, we'll refund every penny of your membership.
Okay, what if I want extra help?
Hey, we have an incredible customer service team. Customer service live every Monday from 10 to 1. As a member, you get free access to these sessions to get hands-on help with all your membership questions.
That's 15 hours of live
Right.
assistance that our customer service team puts on every week. That's why we call them the best in the business, Tom. When's the first trade going to drop?
Hey, tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, join the Sunrise Signal and make sure you don't miss out.
All right, folks, go to dtitrader.com/sunrise or call 904-706-3532. I'm sure we've got a few questions here in the
And
chat.
claim your special founders discounts today.
Absolutely. Only the first 100 get that discount, so want to make sure that we get those folks in there. Let's see if we've got questions here. I saw Dr. Janet said she Sunrise Signal is a separate channel. Yes, it is a separate channel, so you want to make sure you're over there once you're a member. All the instructions are in your members area. All right, let's see here. Tom, how long are these trades lasting? What's your rule of thumb?
Well, we looked at Palantir, it was 132. Go check it today if you see how powerful these are for not only short term, but long term. It identified when to get in Palantir, and today it's like, I think, $155 a share.
Yeah, it's
Pretty
a
quick.
rocket.
That's pretty quick. That's why you got to know about the Sunrise Signal right there. That says it all.
Now, can you tell me, Tom, does this work theoretically to the downside too? Or are you
Yeah, of
able to
course it
trade
does.
both ways? So even if the markets went belly up somehow, I know you don't think that's going to happen this year,
I've been wrong before.
but well, I've never seen it, but I guess
Yeah.
it could happen. So
Hey,
it
Doctor.
works.
Hey, Dr. Janet. She's one of our new students. She's loving it.
We love that. Thank you for being a part of it,
Yep.
Janet. We are very glad you're here and very glad you are in the program. Tom, what should folks do first? Do you think they should check out the options education, or should they dive right into the Telegram channel? What would you?
Well, I would do both. I would go to the master class that we've done. We've done 3 or 4. We only promised one. We're at 4 now, and we'll do some more because I like to show people after I get feedback from you what you need me to show you, because it's pretty clear to me. I've been trading for a long time. A lot of people are new.
Yeah.
So I hear questions say, hey, we'll spend a little time covering that. I don't want anybody to be uncomfortable when they make a trade. And so by doing it that way, I eliminate those obstacles to getting in the way of you making money,
Tom,
which is why you do it, right?
That is right. I have been to your classes, both online and in person. I've talked to a lot of your students. I'm sure some of them are joining us right now. Hello, if I've met any of you before. I've seen, grown men break down in tears at how much it means to you to have your education. And I'm not being hyperbolic. They said it changed the life of them and their families, Tom, and I know that means a lot to you. You've
Absolutely.
got kids and grandkids you care a whole lot about, too. Your education is second to none. I mean, the Sunrise Signals is incredible. What you've done.
Part of the 24-hour market. You
Yeah.
got to have this. You can do
Absolutely.
it manually, or you can have the computer do it. That's what I love about it.
What you've done with this algorithm, you've poured $500,000, probably way more than that now.
Way more than that. I saw that amount, and I thought, I'll take that discount.
Yeah. But as good as all that is, just the classes alone,
Right.
worth the price of admission, getting access to you. You always go above and beyond for your traders. Folks, if you've got more questions, drop them in the chat. We'd love to answer them. Tom, anything folks should know that we haven't covered about the Sunrise Signal, or just anything you want to reinforce for folks?
Here's what I want you to do. I want you to look at the time on your watch right now and know the following. If you get joined as early as tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, we're going to be rocking and we're going to be rolling with Sunrise. Think about that. Don't miss out.
I love that. That's absolutely amazing. Well, folks, one more time, if you are one of the first 100 members to join from this link, which I don't have a way of checking, so we may have filled it already, but you'll know once you click the page. Go to dtitrader.com/sunrise. You're going to get your second year absolutely free. Tom, that's an unbelievable discount you're offering, folks. But if you want to join over the phone, we've got an incredible team that can answer all your questions. Just call 904-706-3532. I'm not going to shout our team members' names out because I'm going to forget some, but I know there's a couple, Kelly, Jeffrey, Caitlin, Sean, that you've been working with forever.
Sure.
Tom, and there's a bunch of great folks on the phone. One more time, folks, dtitrader.com/sunrise. Or don't be a masochist, just click the link in the chat. That's a lot easier. Or call 904-706-3532. You'll talk to a real person. Thank you, Tom, for the work you put in to build this. Thank you for getting your team ready to have it for us today so folks could join. I'm really looking forward to being part of this, and I can't wait till 10 a.m. tomorrow, 10 a.m. to be more specific.
There you go.
Thank you, Tom. Thanks, everybody, for joining
Thanks,
us.
David. Enjoyed it.
You have
Thank
a wonderful day, and we will talk to you inside Sunrise Signals.
You got it.